of Twilight, in 2008, a massive media entertainment surge of vampirism erupted into the theaters. The reputation of the vampire went from monstrous predator that wanted to kill us in order to soothe its thirst for blood, to sensitive, lovable, yet dangerous supermodels that promote abstinence. Somehow the media had an assumption that the cheese of forbidden love with the undead was a squealing fangirl's teenage dream. It didn't take too long for this type of programming to become rather stale. Enter the Spirit Brothers' early 2009 film, Daybreakers.
Life's a bitch and then you don't die.
Finally, we get some sort of break from the forbidden love stories and get into the more traditional vampirism with heavy amounts of symbolism. An unknown plague hits the human race, causing vampiric traits to occur in the infected. A thirst for blood, eternal youth, combustion in the sun, you know, the fun stuff. It doesn't take too long for the plague to circulate through the majority of the Earth's population, as the majority willingly takes it, with the alternative choices to either become the enemy of the state or become farmed for blood. Time goes by as technology and business adapts to the needs of the modern-day vampire. But eventually, due to the large population of vampires, a vast decrease in human blood occurs, and everything pretty much goes to hell from there. Blood and food supplies are extremely limited. Lack of it drives citizens mad until eventually they mutate into bat-like creatures known as subsiders. In response to this problem, a self-loathing hematologist named Edward, played by Ethan Hawke, is put on the job to create a full blood supply that would at least do the job to feed citizens' thirst in hopes not to. Eventually he gets captured by a crew of humans ran by a former vampire named Elvis and becomes their last hope to make a cure for the plague. Edward soon finds himself caught in a war between thirst of the vampire and human survival. It's a very interesting concept of vampires taking over the world, living their nightly lives, going to work, watching the stock exchange, heading over to the local Starbucks for a cup of blood coffee.
This is not what I asked for.
Read the sign, sir. We're now only permitted to serve 5% blood with every coffee.
Based on the film, vampires aren't any better at running the economy than humans are. Well, possibly worse considering what's at stake. Sounds like a pretty original sci-fi concept, right? Well, other than that, it becomes a really campy drama action thriller that can be rather silly and almost pointless at times, especially how it ends. It's not really much of a horror movie, per se, unless you count the home break-in scene with the subsider or the pointless bat jump scares. Besides the camp moments, it has a realistic tone, as though it could be quite well what it would be like for vampires to rule the earth. The special effects, well, they were pretty top-notch. The acting was quite obviously well played. All is there to make a great film, but the story tends to stumble in some places, and the end just feels rather abrupt. Not the greatest film to see, but certainly not disappointing. Lots of hidden symbolism in there if you look close enough, you know, like consumerism and everything. Come for the interesting plot, traditional vampires and literary atmosphere. Leave for the odd, almost too soon ending.